Dividends or growth stocks? What is best for you to live off your investments? Let's talk about this today. This is Mike, the tactical stock scalper. All right. You know, the age-old question, what is better in retirement, growth or dividends? Well, I'm going to tell you it's dividends, and we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to tell you why it's dividends versus growth. Okay, so what is growth? Well, growth is when the stock goes up, you sell a portion, of your position to pull the money to live off of, whether you want to do it weekly, monthly, whatever your schedule is, right? And that's how that would work. Well, with dividends, you get paid from the actual stock once a month, once a quarter, whatever. There's so many varying different types of dividend funds. Now, there's a fundamental problem with growth stocks that dividend stocks just don't have. What's that fundamental problem? You, me, and every human that invests, right? That's the fundamental problem with growth stock. So let's kind of talk about it. As the growth stock goes up, do you add more? Do you, because it's going up and you want more share price appreciation and make more money? When do you sell? Like at what point? Do you have a percentage? Do you have a risk reward ratio? Like where do you sell? That alone right there makes it an issue because it becomes it becomes a human issue, not the actual growth stock itself. Here's another problem with growth stocks for people like me that are nearing retirement. What if it goes down, like the growth stock, and you need to pull money to live off of? Well, might be under your cost basis, and this is typically a time when you would maybe add, but now it's lower than your cost basis. You got to pull money to live off of, right? So now you're actually losing money. It becomes a balancing act. And that's the real problem with growth stocks when you're trying to live off your investments, right? So most investors, they don't even match the S&P as far as total return goes. And this is a big thing with growth investors, talking about total return. That's up to you, the individual. You can look at any stock you want and say, yeah, look at the total return on this. That's the stock. That's not you. That's not an individual selling it. So there's been so many studies out through time that shows that the vast majority of investors don't even match the S&P for total return. Why is that? Because we're humans, guys. We are the ones pulling the trigger, right? So now, why is dividends better? Well, I think, number one, it takes the guesswork out. Absolutely takes the guesswork out of it, right? If it's going up, you can sell the whole position, take the share price appreciation and all the dividends you've made and invest in something else. If you want to leave it, still collect the dividends, right? You don't have this problem of knowing when to pull the trigger. Number two, and this is where dividend investing really shines over growth. What about when the markets go down, which they will? I know we've been up for 6 months in a row and a lot of people are new. Maybe they've only been in the market a year or two. They haven't really found their footing. They don't really understand what a real correction is. What they haven't lived through it. They don't understand it because they just haven't been through it, right? So what happens when a big correction comes in or a couple down years, right? Or a flash crash, right? Most of these new investors have no idea what that's like. And so when something like that happens, do you panic sell your growth stocks and get out and wait for a better opportunity? With dividend stocks, you don't have that problem. You collect your, we'll just say in this case, monthly revenue, right? And then you can either put it back into it if you don't need the money and DCA down that way, or you can just take the live off, let the thing keep tanking, and just keep pulling the money. And then once it starts to recover, maybe then you can start adding some money to it. Another fundamental problem is I think it takes more money with investing in growth stocks than it does dividend stocks. And I know that's really an odd thing to say because so many different kinds of growth stocks, but if you sell your assets to make money, that dwindles and dwindles and dwindles, right? That asset, each time you take some out of it, your share count drops and drops and drops. So eventually, if you want to keep making money, you have to keep feeding the machine. And what if you're feeding it way, way up here and then it falls down? That's the inherent problem with trying to live off your investments with growth stocks versus dividend stocks. Okay. Dividend stocks are just great because by and large, right? And I know there's some, like high yield funds that go up and down with how much they're going to pay every month. But by and large, you pretty much know what you're going to make month in and month out. And it makes it super easy to set a budget and live off of it. You do not have that luxury with growth stocks. You are, essentially a slave to the market and a slave to that particular growth stock that you're invested in, right? And that's really a rough spot to be in if you're needing money and the thing keeps tanking below your cost basis and you keep having to pull shares and your shares get less and less and less as you pull them if you don't reinvest in that growth stock. Now, in saying all of this, I think the best way to do it, and this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just a guy sharing my thoughts and opinions from my own account from a couple decades of doing this kind of work, right? I think a mixture is the best. Now, as we get older and we're nearing retirement, I think more dividends funds are better for us because it gives us stability in what we're looking for. And this whole growth versus dividend thing is really foolish, to be honest with you, because the best is both, right? That is actually the best way to do it. Have diversification with growth stocks, right? With dividend stocks and diversified within each one of them. And maybe you want treasuries, maybe you want gold, maybe you want other type of safe havens, right? Diversification within your account is actually the best answer. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, caress the like button. If you really liked it, I'd appreciate a sub. This is Mike, the Tactical Stock Scalper.